go. It's Murphy's Law. I would say the most prolific brother duo in tech house music today. Is that a claim that we can legitimately make?
Martinez brothers.
I don't know.
Who are they?
From the Leicestershire region.
Definitely. The only ones from the Leicestershire region.
Take that one.
So we're here on a Friday afternoon, and this podcast should have been recorded last Saturday evening. Yeah. Who wants to explain why that didn't happen?
Yeah, I'll...
Train strikes.
So no, we had a show in Bishop Stortford last Friday, and the show we should have finished at 2 a.m, and then everyone's had a few too many to drink, and some lad just asked if we want to go back to his house and have a bit of an afters. And honestly, it just went so quick. By the time I looked at my phone, I was like, shit, it's 10 a.m. and we've got to check out of our Airbnb at 10:30. So we travel 5 minutes to the air. I don't even know why we bothered getting into bed. 20 minutes in bed, getting a knock on the door. And we woke up to basically we'd not slept at all, got on the train to Newcastle, and I just looked at Sonny and I just said, I am not sitting in front of a camera today. I already had a tight chest. I couldn't think of anything worse. So instead of making up an excuse, I fully owned up in the chat.
You did, and you know what? I was so disappointed because I was so fresh, everyone. It was the best voice note I've ever received.
Yeah, but what time did you receive the voice note?
Well, let's not...
Because the podcast was set to be recorded at 7 p.m. I was getting ready for it at 6, and I was messaging you.
Yeah, and he's still not surfaced.
Still heard nothing from Dean.
Do you know what? I like a drink too, guys.
Yeah.
And what happened to me was, my mate was celebrating some good news on Friday, so he was like, can we go grab a beer? For context, when I say beer, it was definitely a Disaronno and Coke, Felix. I pretend to be cool with a beer, but it was a Disaronno and Coke. Yeah. So we go for a Disaronno and Coke and a beer for him, celebrating his good news, and then we're like, well, we've got obviously the events on night. Freshers Week was starting to kick off, so town was busy in general, and we went down to China White for a bit, had a couple more drinks, a couple of tequilas, couple more tequilas, couple more tequilas, and you can see where this is going.
Well, I know exactly where it's going, to your bathroom floor with him sat holding the toilet going, I can't think about this right now.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah, so when I got a lovely voice note saying, do you mind? But to be fair, the voice note originally said, I don't think we can. So in my defence, right, Felix, it was like, I think there's still time for me to recover. Yeah. And if I can recover, you guys might recover. As the day went on, I was so glad you didn't recover because I didn't. And then obviously there was talk of we could do the Sunday instead, but obviously we were doing digital on the Saturday.
The same battle we would
have.
So we were trying we were putting it off, sending the message because we thought maybe we'll get a bit better. But the thing is, it's an emotional roller coaster on no sleep anyway. But we're quite used to it. But we'd fully been through it because we'd gone back to this lad's for an afters, and it was like we were just in his garage.
And where was it again? Bishop?
Near Kent.
Where the fuck is that?
Proper down south. And so we're in this guy's garage for like 4 hours just chatting waffle. For the last hour while we were trying to sort out a car to get us back to the station, his parents in that time had woken up. So we're stood in the kitchen with him and his parents.
Making your full English.
Luckily, they were actually so sound. I felt so relaxed. It wasn't like you'd think it was, where you're around these parents like, oh God, no. Yeah. It was dead chilled, but it was just one of them where it dawned on us. I looked at him and I said, you do realise we've got to now go to Newcastle and be on an hour podcast. And it wasn't going to happen. So.
I didn't know where that story was going. I thought you were like, and then his mum and dad came down, cracked the can with us and started joining. I was like, I love that.
So you said this was about 10 a.m. when you realised. Yeah. What's the latest you've ever left an afters, legitimately left an afters? I'll say earliest, obviously, I mean. What's the time of the day?
It's got to be...
I don't even know you can't really.
It rolls into the next day.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You can't really put a time on it, but then sometimes you get back 2 days later and you're still in the same pair of socks. And you might have switched your boxes inside out at some point over the 2 days because you're in Ibiza and it's.
I think our longest one has to be. So we throw a party in Leicester called Full House, and we've not thrown it for a while, but it's Leicester's a dead small place, so when we put something on, all of our friends come, and it's like everyone in the crowd.
Yeah,
and then it's always a lot of work. So afterwards we reward ourselves and have a big afters with our friends. And there was just this one time where we we had 3 different houses we went to at the afters.
It was like a bar crawl.
It was.
Basically,
Oh my God.
every time we got served out of one,
Yeah,
just move on to
we
the
started
next.
at
No
9,
way.
and that was from the party's end, which was like 4 a.m. till 10 in the morning. Then I went to
Then
get
Mum
in.
came into the studio.
That was that was the same one. We booked Roscoe,
Right.
and so Roscoe came back to ours with us.
Class.
And my mum came into the studio at 10 a.m. and she opened the door. She's like, "Roscoe, are you still here?" And he had to leave for a flight to Italy. And then a load of my other friends went back with Sonny to my mate Corey's house. And I don't know why I lied to myself. I was like, you know what, I'm going to get some sleep. I got into bed, and as soon as I'm like drifting off, I get this FaceTime call, and I answer, and it's all my best friends at Corey's. And I just went, yeah, I'm coming. Straight back out of bed to these, and it just carried on and carried on.
Carried on like well into like the Sunday night, but it went through all them different phases of after party where like you have the fun phase, then you have like the really just weird phase, and the weird phase was when we got to Corey's and we were all like in a jolly state, shall I say?
Yeah.
Right, go.
Merry.
We lined up all the girls in our group, their mates, but right, sit on the sofa and you're going to be the judge.
This isn't going where you think. It's not seedy. When you say
He's
line
getting
up,
really worried.
don't line up, girls.
So we were like, yeah, you know, you lot all line up and you're going to be
Sounds like a conversation we had before this started.
yeah, we were like, you know, you line up, you can be the judges, and they were like, for what? And we were like, we're going to be bank robbers one by one. We're going to come in and do our best bank robbery, and you need to tell us who's the best bank robber.
Right.
So like, obviously, some people would come in like with just the kitchen knife and give me the money, but then like one of our mates was like dressed up as a cleaner and says,
Like that.
"Housekeeping."
I rate that.
Open the door.
I rate
Brought
that.
the Hoover through.
I rate that.
And all the girls were just sat there watching us like, what? Like they'd been in bed and woken up, and we were still like, oh, honestly, you guys, you're going to love this next one.
Imagine getting walking up to judge that.
You know what though? It was so funny because they honestly thought we'd be offended. They thought we'd be offended at who they picked as the best and the worst. So we were going, just tell us who was the best, and they were going, I think you all did a really good attempt to win. And they're like, no, we want to know a winner now. Pick the winner. Who was the best? And it was just.
So what did you both go for?
I think mine was all guns blazing. Ran in with a knife.
Yeah.
You kicked the door and
Yeah.
ran in with a knife.
I can't even remember what you did.
I can't
remember much of the night apart from that.
LooseCast has taken a turn, by the way,
Taken a
hasn't it?
turn,
We're now
yeah.
encouraging robberies.
Yeah.
By the way, this water's rubbish. We're going to go. Look at that. We've got Loose Fest canned water.
Love it. Shout
Water.
out Water, Brian.
Well, on that hydration note, what
just
would
before, let's
be?
give
We're
this
obviously we're recording this deep. How is it?
Oh, that's amazing.
Wet? Is it wet?
Wet.
Wet as out that part. So we're deep. We're deep, and you were deep in Freshers Week. I'm sure you're doing loads of gigs all across this time. What are some tips for surviving? Feeling the way that you might feel in Freshers Week. This is obviously like works for everyone, doesn't it? Works for everyone who's going out on the sesh for a big weekend, going to Ibiza, whatever. But what are your, as professional seshers, what would you say was some of your survival tips or tips for after the fact to help you feel a little bit more normal in those days? Suicide Tuesday, as I like to call it. Like in those days beyond the weekend.
And then you wake up on the Tuesday like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Okay,
So
tip
what-
number one. We'll go tip for tip.
Yeah.
Tip number one.
Tip for tip.
Try and switch out some of your spirits. It sounds boring, but it's not. It takes longer to
I
get
feel like
to
we're
where-
not doing this right. Switching out the spirits. They're basically, you've already done too many spirits. This is how you get over it. We're not teaching people to party responsibly.
No,
We're
it's not
encouraging
party
irresponsible partying and how to get over it.
Wait,
So the next day, how do we get back on the horse and go again without cancelling podcasts?
No, but I mean that's the same. I was gonna say that usually how we can do it a few days in a row.
You're
is fine.
preempting it, aren't you?
Yeah, well, basically we've swapped out on our riders' spirits now,
Right.
And we're drinking instead like a lot of seltzers.
Yeah, like the White Claw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
White Claw are the
Yeah.
ones.
And sodas
Basically,
and yeah.
if you get a bit buzzed first and then you get onto the White Claws, they hydrate you while you drink. So you can get steaming, and then in the morning you wake up and
Yeah, I mean,
honestly, you don't feel like you've drank.
Yeah.
So for me, that is a life
Right,
hack.
love that. Right, so give us. He's taken the preemptive approach of working us up to the.
He's the wrong one.
Yeah. So you take us on the after fact. You're waking up on Tuesday. The party is absolutely finished. Everyone's gone home. There's no more FaceTimes. There's no more afters. And now you're just sweating and alone.
Yeah.
What are you going to do to bring yourself round?
A Barocca. First thing,
That is doing nothing.
I don't know if they even work, but you're just like, I'm putting something.
Psychological, innit? Psychological.
Yeah.
A dog with nice soft ears close by to stroke.
Right.
That always gets rid of some of the anxiety. not checking your Instagram till at least after the stories have stopped their 24 because they're a surefire way to send yourself. Because if you're still getting tagged in stuff from Saturday or Sunday, you know your anxiety's going to be brought on prematurely.
See, that's amazing as a DJ. Like, for me, going out and partying, it's the first thing I do when I wake up. I'm like, what have I put on my story?
Sometimes I wake up in the morning and it's like, so-and-so's tagged, and it's like, oh, fuck, leave it 24 hours, then I can't view it.
I've got a very weird one that I do.
Right.
So, only occasionally, if I'm really struggling to get to sleep, I find it's easier to accept I might not sleep and just relax.
Right.
I've got one of them apps on my phone for my light so I can pick the colours.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'll put that on like dark blue and then I'll just put on whale sounds on YouTube. Imagine how relaxing this is. You're lying there, it's dark blue in your room and you can just hear...
So he's got a playlist.
Do you know what I thought you were... I'll own it. Yeah, when I'm hungover, I'll sit down in the shower and listen to High School Musical. It's really relaxing. It's really relaxing.
It's not relaxing.
When you're sitting down in the shower or listening to High School Musical, questionable, but both together, it's like, check my man's hard drive.
It's not even relaxing music. That's like...
Do you know what? It's a great playlist when I'm hungover. Do you know what I thought you were going to say there? When he was on about the wheel noise, I thought you were going to mention my previous neighbours.
Oh, right, yeah.
I can tell this now because they've gone, right? So, I've lived in mine 7 years or something now, right? And I've had different neighbours over the time, and there's some great stories. Anyway, the really quick version of this is, like, ages and ages ago, I broke my ankle. Sorry, mentioning that story. Broke my ankle and my boiler was broke. So at the time, I couldn't get anywhere to go shower, so I had to use next door's shower. Right. So when I was in next door's shower, I was like, I always have parties and stuff. Like, I wonder if you can hear, like, the music or the TV in mine at all. So I went next door and I went in the bedroom... the room that was behind my bedroom, and I put my music to full blast in mine, and it's loud, and I put the TV full blast and everything, and you couldn't hear a single thing. I was like, this is perfect, like, because I have parties all the time, you can't hear anything. Anyway, fast forward a few months, these new neighbours moved in, and one night I was lying there, and I could hear him fucking snoring through the wall. I was like, this is physically impossible. No. Because I've had my music full blast and all that. But it's because, obviously, the snoring, the bass was that deep. It was coming through the wall. And I'd sit
like
there.
My man sat there on the floor of the shower. He's snoring. I'm crying.
Wow.
I love it. But, like, it was just when you said about the whale noises there, I thought he was going to go, Dean had that every night with his neighbours. But the worst thing was, like, I live in the city centre, so I expect noise. Like, there's
not that kind of noise, though.
Well, no, there's, like, a nightclub. What was the Loft? And Tiger previously, you can hear the bass so loud till 3 a.m. There was then like a building nearby where the alarm was going off, and it was like, evacuate the building, please use the stairs, evacuate the building, please leave the stairs.
Oh, there's a sample there. That's a sample for anyone.
I tried not to laugh over it.
Trademarked. And then
I'll isolate it for you.
Also, there's a road as well. There's a road, and the cars, obviously, it's a certain time. The cars decide there's no police there, so they're starting revving their engine. So I'm lying in bed at like 3 a.m. All I can hear is, evacuate the building, please use the stairs. Doesn't bother us. And then I hear, and it just killed us. Because like, that shouldn't be the noise.
It's the worst sound to hear when you're trying to sleep. It's like you're trying to get there where they are, and they're just flaunting
and they're stopping you from getting there.
Was it you that was saying to me the other day that you didn't realise people could see your Spotify playlists?
Oh yeah,
this is genius. This is gold.
Mate, yours is great on a Sunday morning.
I didn't know this. To be fair, I'm not going to make it. Shout out Adam Walker. Adam Walker just randomly messages one. I'm really making myself look uncool at using the music. Just for the record, I loved your set on Saturday. It was incredible. I do like Kill music. But Adam Walker once messaged me going, ooh, Nickelback, Dean. Very interesting. I was looking around my flat going, what the actual fuck? And I didn't know people could see what you were listening to on Spotify.
Well, I didn't know they could see what you're listening to.
Because it wasn't. It was one of your playlists.
No. That came after.
Right.
No, this was. He literally quoted my song that I was listening to.
Surely then you must have like a what you call it. I'm going to group listen thing or something.
Because we're cheapskates, me and Sonny have the same Spotify.
That's not cheapskate.
So if one of us plays music and the other picks a new song in their car, it stops.
Yeah.
The amount of time
so
people ring me angry, like, just turn it off.
Turn the ABBA off.
Until they up their royalties, we're not getting to accounts though.
Sorry, I'm doing this thing again that I get wrong off from every time. I believe I show him the photo, you can't see it, but like just messages going.
That's mad. That
Rockstar Nickelback. He went, Nickelback, made my day. This, and I'm like, where the hell are you?
You sure he's not hacked into your computer?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it is.
But then wasn't he listening to your like sex playlist?
Felix, no. All I'm saying is everyone has a playlist, don't they?
Let's get it on.
When he said that, it just made me think, oh shit, I'm not very coy with like the names of playlists.
Mate, you Northerners with your playlist for shagging, I bet it's that new Northern donk. Put
Put a donk on it.
140 BPM donk.
Yeah.
Oh, we've gone west.
So
haven't we?
I wanted to ask about which one of you is it that did the rapping at McDonald's drive-through? Right, that is not the rapping of an amateur. So did you have you ever been an MC or have you ever been like a rap?
That's where our music career started.
Right, so tell us.
Career, it was definitely a hobby, and we were like, I was 11, he was 14.
So let me just shout this out for anyone who's not seen this. Go and get on Murphy's Law's Instagram, scroll back a little bit, and you guys have got, is it a remix dropping or a track dropping at the time?
We did a remix for one of our friends called Gardner.
Yeah.
He's a wicked rapper himself.
So you've got a remix dropping, and you drive to the drive-through, and you rap your order and rep the remix.
Yeah.
So then, so go and find and watch that and give us the backstory then. So how did it all...
We basically it's kind of like a blessing and a curse, but we've basically got this name for ourselves of doing ridiculous promo videos.
Yeah.
We just watch too many people sit in a studio and go, hi guys, new track's out now, and then they play it and go...
And they awkwardly dance, and it's like, oh my God.
I mean, talking of awkward dancing, there is a promo video where you go to a hi-fi shop.
Oh, that's what
you in the background.
Our overall promo tactic is just ram stuff down people's throats even when they don't want it. So, we kind of feel like we've appealed as much as we can to the people that are into what we do. So now we're taking it public.
Wider audience.
It's definitely working though.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Honestly, I'll go down the street and see like one of my mum's friends, and she'll have seen it on Facebook, and she'll go, "Oh, that new video's hilarious," and they'll be speaking about it, and it's like it clearly works because if I just did me in the studio, they wouldn't have even wouldn't have showed up.
We've been out air horning on the golf course before, fully cameras, and then someone's commented, "Lol, that's my auntie, you're air horning." She's playing golf on the
so take us back. How did you? So did you start off MCing or what was the deal?
Oh yeah, we've gone on so many tangents here, but basically, I started off. MCing, and we used to make like grind beats when we were young.
Nice.
My dad basically was a musician. He had a recording studio in his garden, and then got super into that. And I went to an all boys school in Leicester called Lancaster Boys, and it's like everyone there used to rap, so you just get into it.
Right.
And then I've always just done it as a laugh. So me and my mate Jake, as we got a bit older and started smoking and chilling out together, we'd just always be writing, trying to make them funny but like hilarious lyrics. But I've just done it forever. So on this promo video, we just had the idea like let's just
rewrite the verse that this rapper had wrote.
Yeah, so in the same flow he's done his verse, we'll write an order at McDonald's.
Can you remember it?
I can't.
It's good.
Fries and a Big Mac.
Yeah, it's great.
I just want to RAVEASAP. Murphy's Law are here at Mac's. Can I get a large fries and a Big Mac, please? And a large Coke, make that full fat, please. 20 nuggets, extra crispy, barbecue sauce and tomato dip, please. Make it quick cause man's in a hurry. Finally, I want a flake McFlurry. Do you understand the order I've spoken? Don't say the ice cream machine's broken. It's always broken, I don't know how, but our Rave ASAP remix is out now.
This is where you need the perfect.
That's great. I'll put some cha-chings on there. I'll put some cha-chings. That was incredible, mate. Yeah, go and check out the Murphy's Law Instagram.
Why does that make me want to get absolutely on it and have a drink?
I thought he was going to say that really makes me want to get a Mackey's.
Want to order some McDonald's?
Yeah, I was like, I really want a Mackey's now.
Deliveroo right now.
It's like watching Super Size Me and going, but I could still have 20 nugs though. I could still nail it.
His rap skills come in. I was always like more of like the beat maker, but at the time, like we loved it, and then like it kind of as you got a bit older was really embarrassing because it's kind of like there was points where we were too young to go to the venues where we were playing, so our mum would have to come with us and shit.
I mean, you've got high pitched voices.
Yeah.
This is pace on the mic.
What are we doing? But then now it's like for promo, but sometimes as well, like we'll be at an afters, and like when we're around our close mates that he's like comfortable doing it in front of, then we'll just start freestyling. Like, and actually completely freestyling. He'll go around the room like just talking about people.
Nice.
It's like a proper form of entertainment.
Have you done any vocals yourself for a Murphy's Law track?
Yeah, we've done a couple actually.
Right.
The most recent one, our most recent release on Bambaleo called Pineapple Patron.
Yeah.
The vocals in that are just me. We wrote the lyrics.
I didn't realise.
Just pitched it down.
I didn't realise. Nice.
Yeah, and it's called Pineapple Patron because before we started drinking seltzers, our rider was Pineapple Patron.
Right.
But it kept getting me in trouble.
Been there.
It led to a teetotal phase.
Really?
Yeah, it kept getting
I was
in trouble with
questioning
me.
every decision I'd ever made.
I feel like that's what the tequila's turning me to, so I'm going to avoid tequila.
Tequila's the one, it's dangerous.
But they've stopped making that coffee one, haven't they? That
They
one
have,
was
but you know what?
lethal.
It's so nice, but it's so sweet. You can only have one. I prefer
Yeah.
just
There's
normal.
another brand now. I've forgotten the name of it, but like there's another.
Cascabel.
That's
They do
right,
honey
and they do it, and they do like a. Do they do like a caramel one or
I think
something?
it's honey.
Oh, it's beautiful. But they
So
do a
good.
coffee one as well,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
tastes like almost identical.
So now we just try and kind of save the tequila for after.
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
When the
no
job's
matter where it
done.
ends, like he always says, he's like, look, whatever you do after, he was like, I don't care, I'm not going to tell you off. He was like, but when
But
you
on
can't
the
remember what
decks.
songs you played
Yeah.
on stage,
I'd be playing a track and he'd go to mix the track into the track and I'd go, yo, bro.
It's
you can't-
playing.
You can't, yeah, I'm
playing.
And he'd have his headphones on and go, what? I'd go, I've just played that. And then he'd be like, you don't need to shout.
So we established you're the sensible one, you're the wild one. Is
Yeah,
that the,
I think-
the dynamic.
I tell you who's brutal on
Now
there.
he's got much better. Now I'd say we're both very much,
And
we get the balance right.
and you
Yeah.
realise that actually it just means you've got like way more hours in the tank.
Yeah,
Because if you're
yeah.
like, when you're starting after now, it's like
Yeah.
so much better.
I tell you who's brutal on the tequila though. Michael Woods, who is also a fire, like the defected guy.
Yeah.
I've DJed with him a few times. He gets to the show and just starts sipping the tequila, and he drinks it the whole way through. So if you ever meet him or fire up,
We were getting towards the end of sets sometimes, and me and him had done the whole bottle of
Yeah.
Patron, just out the bottle, and you're looking at it like, that's the third gig this weekend. and then you're working out like...
There was one show in Liverpool we played, and so the show was at night. We played 1 till 3 in the morning.
yeah.
And Sonny was at a beer garden in Leicester with his mate Kai, or our mate.
Shout out, guy.
He was at midday, right? On the day,
It was sunny.
drinking pints. I've rang him at 6. I've said, where are you? Because I'm going to come back and grab you and we'll go. And he was like, I'm still at the pub, and I could hear he's slurring his words. I was
I'm
like,
there
"What?"
like, I'm sound!
Yeah, honestly, I was stressing now. I'm like, what are you doing, mate? We've got a show. And he gets in the car with me, and the whole journey is just winding me up, asking the same question over and over again. Where's my wallet? Where's my phone? All this just done. Yeah. And then get to the show, and we've got about an hour and a half to kill, and we're sat upstairs and on this proper nice little sofa booth thing, and they're saying, oh, do you want me to bring out your ride now? And I'm going, no. The guys brought out this bottle of Don Julio, and Sonny's there. Shot. Honestly, halfway through the set, he just thinks we've finished. Luckily, his track's not playing, mine is. And he's just looked at me like this. And he's just pulled his USB out. And he started to wander off. I've gone, what are you doing, mate? We've got like an
See,
hour
that's
left.
all right when you've got a brother, because I've
Exactly.
done that before and it did not end well.
No, well, it did me a favour, because I went to get him back, and then I swear to God, I just went, actually, no, you know what?
Keep going.
Go on.
I've got a margin order,
Yeah, I
red
just went,
card.
go on.
See, if that was me and you in the duo, it'd be
God, we would've
really
took on
dangerous.
together. Really giving on USB out, someone in the crowd, like, who fancies to go again? You'll probably
Murphy's
do a better
Law.
job than us.
Because you told a story on a recent podcast about it, didn't you?
Oh mate, I'm not going to tell it again, but I used to go down to Brighton to DJ. The guys that had digital used to have a digital in Brighton. They used to fly me down every week to DJ, and basically the digital up here closes at 3, or it did, and the digital down there closes at 4. So I just got to 3, and I drunk a bottle of Jack, and I was like, it's 3.
Oh, no.
I'm finished. And I just walked out a full club. I was barred from the venue, and they never threw me back. And I had to pay all my flights, because they had my flights booked till Christmas.
No.
They were like, you're not coming. The guy was like, you're not coming back.
I mean, did you not realise that, like, the lights hadn't came up? And
Well, you know that bit when you were just doing an impression of him?
Yeah.
That's what I was like.
didn't even realise you were in
you're
a club.
at it, when
Yeah.
you're at it and you're fully gone, like, there is no.
Goes up to the bar and he's like, can I get a cheeseburger?
It's 3. My work here is done.
Honestly, that's why.
Check out.
That's why we've taken tequila, especially now we're busier and the shows count for more.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Luckily, like I feel like I got all of these absolute shitters out the way just before stuff really started taking off for us, and I'm so glad, because if what would have happened regularly had started happening now when we were playing like Digi on a Saturday night or a festival or something,
For your heroes, like, and then you do that. I feel like it would have been a baptism.
Well, I wanted to touch on Capiati. So you kind of met your manager when you were at a Capiati show.
Yeah.
He's kind of your hero, and you've ended up... Did you do a back-to-back with him recently?
No.
Are you warm up for him, or...?
Yeah, we warmed up for...
So take us right back then. How does that sort of, from being kind of grime, Leicestershire grime pioneers, that's what my title, you don't have to accept it, I'm just going to give you it.
Definitely not. There's one pioneer in Leicester.
Right. I joke. But from moving on from that stage, how does Capriati kind of come into the story?
So like we've been making, when we'd kind of done the grime stuff, I moved to Manchester when I was 19.
Yeah.
Was doing my own solo thing, so I was a resident for Salado before they even were known as Salado. Like,
shout to James and Mark.
Two of our best mates. I've just got so much time for the two of them, and like I was doing that, Finn was doing his own thing back in Leicester, and then when I finished uni, we were just like, we need to do this together. It makes so much more sense, and so we kind of like joined up, and within like the space of like a year, it was like, God, how?
And were you both a bit more on that like techie, housey vibe at that point?
Like playing the same music. He'd been doing it a lot longer, and he'd really been working on making music and stuff, And I'd been in Leicester throwing parties and DJing. And then we both have always had similar tastes in all the music we're into. But we just came together, and as soon as we started doing it, it just really, like, in 6 years, obviously he'd put the groundwork in, which is the hard yards, you know, having to learn everything completely from scratch. And then I got, like, the golden ticket, which is, I'm going to teach you 5 days a week, 10 hours a day for free, how to do this.
And a real quick answer so we don't go too deep, what do you produce on, or what did you... Logic, right, cool. And that's where you're at.
Started on Reason back in the day, like, I think it was Reason 4.
Yeah.
And then I think it was, like, Logic 7, so we would have been, like, 14 and 12 at the time.
Yeah, I don't want to go too deep on that, but for people who are watching...
We got a Mac and moved on to Logic, and then you know what it's like, it's kind of... You see producers changing software, but it's kind of like, once you know how to work one, the thought of having to relearn...
So where does the Capriati move into the story?
So, we'd started doing this project together. Sonny took me to Ibiza for my first ever time. And
give us a sort of date on this. How long ago?
2017.
We might be a year either
17 or 18.
But so we're talking about 6-7 years ago.
Yeah,
cool.
And at this point, we're still not even a duo. This is like...
I mean, you're fucking brothers.
Yeah.
You're kind of a duo from birth. Yeah, I mean...
No, it's not, though. It's not even a thing. And...
only the grime fans are
gone too soon, mate. Gone too soon.
They went, you're the pioneers of grime. He took us to Ibiza, and we were in DC-10. Capriati's playing in not the most famous room in DC-10.
The indoor,
And it was amazing. Like, it was absolutely...
You were ready to call it before.
Yeah, I was too tired. I wasn't feeling it. And then I walked through that room, and I was like, oh my God, this is unreal. And we stayed all night. And... just randomly on that night, our now manager, Ross, he was backstage at the Capriati show. And Sonny recognised him because they followed each other, but they didn't know each other.
He was tour managing WAF at the time, so I followed him because of that.
He was called Mr. Hydrate at the time. And basically, Sonny was like, we should go up and say hello. So we went to introduce ourselves, chatted to him. And then, obviously, all these years later, actually, it was probably only 3 years later from that, we started doing Murphy's Law, and he's like, I'm keeping my eye on you two. Like, I'm liking what I'm seeing, but we're going to see how it kind of develops. And then, long story short, we've ended up with Ross. And then, the first ever Ibiza booking we got was this summer at Amnesia for Metamorphose.
Nice.
And it was so amazing to like realise where we first saw Capriati. Our manager was there, and now our manager's with us in the booth for Capriati's event.
So Mum was there. We always said, the first proper Ibiza booking we get, like your
name. Obviously, it's your surname.
Yeah.
But the law bit, like, because coming up with, like, I mean, you've got so many different brands, and you must have sat through so many of these meetings. But when you decided to do the duo together, what was there any other possibilities? Where does the word law come from?
We were going to call ourselves LooseCast, and then
we realised some shit houses already had it.
Well, we went into this the other day in the other podcast, and I was like, basically, we came up with loose, and then now we're just lazy, and we just do everything with loose. Loose Fest, Loose Days, LooseCast.
No, we had some shocking suggestions. 'Cause you know what it's like? It's the classic case when you sit there and think about anything. It's shit. You know, using Google Translate in Italian and Spanish. So cringy.
Yeah, and realistically, nothing matters till it's actually a thing.
Then one day I was on my shift in Nando's, because I was working part-time in Nando's at the time just to pay my rent in Manchester. And I was just thinking about stuff, and I was just like, Murphy's Law. Like, our surname's Murphy. There's a telly programme on the BBC with James Nesbitt called but Murphy's Law, it's like it's an old, like, wives' tale. Murphy's Law means any... Is it
not called a wives' tale? Old
urban myth?
Yeah.
Well, it's not even that. It's like you get different laws. You got Sod's Law, Law of Attraction...
So the one it made me think of was Coughlin's Law, which is the guy from, like, Cocktail, who's, like, the barman, and, like, Tom Cruise goes to work for him, and his, like, Coughlin's Law is, like, number 5, and he just keeps reeling off all these bits of, like, advice.
So Murphy's Law essentially is anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Yeah.
And, like, they touch on it.
So you're exemplifying it, really. Do you know what I mean? You're just living it.
I didn't want to get in all these states. What I was doing, unlike Kim, I was staying true to the brand.
Very on brand. Very on brand.
I should have respected it more if I did that.
But I wasn't drinking Guinness, so that's where I left. But yeah, no, so it was kind of one of them ones. It's our surname, anything that can go. It's like tangible, the Shamrock as a logo, and it was just suddenly like, we've been thinking about all these shit names that have no relevance, but now not only does it have relevance, but I always think with anything, if you can't see the project 10 years from the start, where it's going to go, and we were just thinking, well, with Murphy, instantly you've got a Shamrock logo, like no matter how big this gets, you've got a tangible thing.
Which also guarantees bookings in Belfast and Dublin.
Well, we just had our first one that we were meant to be doing, but something on that we can't talk about yet has come in on that night.
Right.
So we're desperately trying to rearrange.
We were thinking that when we started it. We were like, we'll get loads of bookings in Ireland, and so far not yet. So, if you're out there and you want some real Irishman in your town,
because don't you say in one of the videos, you're like, I must be like a quarter Irish.
We had a release on Kaluki, and it came out on St Patrick's Day.
Right,
nice.
Was you like in Dublin or something?
Our manager literally just went, you've got to go to Dublin to film.
Yeah,
he went, I'll pay for your flights, I'll pay for your hotel.
Right.
You just have to go.
That's honestly how sick he is as a manager. Like, nothing's...
Because I couldn't work out whether you're in Dublin or if you just went to the local Irish bar and pretended and be like, we're in Dublin!
3 days early, bro.
He said, book your flights
Market research.
He said, book your flights now, and I'll pay for you to go.
Beautiful.
And we had the best time ever. We got all the content done in one day, and then for the other two, we just got absolutely hammered.
Temple Bar.
Yeah.
Temple Bar. The first day, to be fair, like, we had, like, I don't know, must have had 5 or 6 pints of Guinness before filming, but it made it so much better. And by the time we finished, we must have had maybe 10 or 11. By the end of the day, you'd had like 18 pints of Guinness.
Which for someone who's drunk off 4 pints at the pub, that's like a...
we were gobsmacked. We were watching things put away, and then like and this is like on a Wednesday afternoon. St Paddy's Day is 2 days away yet, and he's like doing the worm across the middle of this Irish pub.
Yeah, there's like acoustic guitarist singing and stuff, and I was standing up yelling, play Murphy's Law. One
guy's like, I've never fucking heard of it. We were just there like, what are we doing?
So I want to bring it to the Leicester thing, right? We were chatting before.
Yeah.
And you...
don't mention football.
No, I don't support Middlesbrough anymore.
But what I wanted to ask, really, and you can pick up on this, was just like, where were you when you won the league? Like, where were you? Because I remember there was that game. I was watching it in my kitchen when was it Chelsea playing someone, and did they lose or?
Yeah,
wasn't there a last minute goal?
Spurs were 2-0 up against Chelsea.
That's right.
Spurs were in second, we were in first, and Chelsea got 2 in the last
Hazard scored that worldie, didn't he?
It's the biggest Hazard.
So where were you
winning the league?
Do you know what the worst thing is?
Inflicting pain on Spurs at the same time.
Can you actually remember?
Yeah, I can fully remember because I had my last uni exam the next day and I missed it. So I went and celebrate.
Wait, so we weren't together?
We weren't together because then it was like 2 days later the trophy got lifted and it was your birthday, and we went straight from watching Leicester beat Everton the day the trophy got lifted. Then we went straight on a train to Fabric in London.
Oh my god!
I got ejected from the booth in Fabric because obviously we'd been on the lash for like 14 hours before we even got there.
I remember that, and then
drinking Vardy bombs.
Yeah, and then there was
Vardy bombs. Love it.
Blue Wicked and Jägermeister.
Love it. Yeah.
Every pub and club in Leicester adopted the Vardy bomb for like.
So what is a Vardy bomb?
So it's Blue Wicked with Jägermeister
instead of the Red Bull.
Do you know what? It bangs as well.
Ain't no party like a Vardy party.
Well, I was going to shout out Bobby Love. I think one of my friends, Bobby Love, he did a status.
Like a porn star.
I mean, he could be.
Or a stripper.
Are you Bobby Love?
With an eye.
And he did like a status of Leicester win the league. He's not even a Leicester fan, but he was like, again, like we were saying before, everyone just loves Jamie Vardy, don't they?
Yeah.
He's like, if Leicester win the league, I'll get chat shit, get banged tattooed. And I'm sure he did. He did. I'll have to find it.
Like the most iconic quote to ever come out. Leicester, chat shit, get banged. I mean, it says what it is.
So I mean, whilst Leicester were winning the Premier League, you know, like amazing achievement, Middlesbrough got promoted at the same time. Everyone.
Nice.
I mean,
nice.
So where were you on this momentous occasion?
I was there.
Listening to songs on the floor of his shower.
I was at the match just with High School Musical and my AirPods. Listen to that.
While all his mates are watching what he's listening to on Spotify.
Thing is, we now know how creative you are. I'm waiting for you to change the lyrics there.
No, it was a mad time. Like Leicester was just buzzing. Like the whole city went into basically like a form of like lockdown, but a good lockdown.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't even want to use that word anymore.
It was just like, it was like standstill. There were like 250,000 people on the park. Kasabian just rocked up and played for free.
No way!
All the players were like jumping on the stage.
Crazy. It was honestly wild. It was mad. Like you'd be in town and every car, you'd just be banging their horns for no reason. Just
to be honest, it was a lot like Tuesday in town because Newcastle played in the Champions League for the first time in 20 years, and town here was. I know that I'm not joking, but you know what I mean. I'm serious in a way. Like
the same as Saturday as well, because everyone was so buzzing. Murphy's Law played digital.
Yeah,
similar sort of.
Some were that buzzing. They went a bit over the top on the Friday night.
3 points home with us though.
But do you know the thing though? It is that, and it's like honestly, it's so good for the city. How good Newcastle. And I'm jealous as fuck.
And
like obviously,
how shit it is when it's going bad. Like last year, we felt the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Which was just every pub, every Saturday was just miserable.
Like so obviously Newcastle doing amazing. It's so good. Like all the guys who are part of the team are Newcastle fans, pretty much a lot of them, and obviously all the people who come to the events of that. And then I'm like stuck there, being a fucking Borough fan, witnessing like how amazing the city is when Newcastle are doing well, and then we're bottom of the league.
Do you know
it's
what,
absolutely
though?
brutal.
It says a lot more about you for sticking with it. And you get people who will. Well, very few, but you get scumbags who will either switch teams or, they're from somewhere like Leicester, for example, and they go, Liverpool till I die. And it's like, why? How?
But mine was the opposite. So, like, I live in a place called Chesley Street originally, and that's, like, basically, I'd like to say bang in the middle of Newcastle on Sunday, or at least...
It's a lot like the place where you had that after party last Friday. It's a lot like that place. Bishop Storcroft.
Bishop Storcroft.
But, like, in primary school and secondary school, everyone was a Newcastle or Sunderland fan, and then I was the only Middlesbrough fan, and it was absolutely horrible. I called it character building.
Like, do you know the worst is the people that get season tickets when you go to the Premier League?
Yeah.
It's just like, I can't even look at you. Well, I've never been to Barnsley on a Wednesday night. You don't know what it's about.
All of the away days. It used to be so much fun.
Yeah, I used to do that.
But I had no friends who were Middlesbrough fans, so I like always went with my mum and dad. So I had season tickets and I went to all the home games, but there wasn't like the lads to go to the away.
Yeah, you don't want to do the away day with your mum.
No,
you get the other fans just cheering random shit to you.
To be fair, my mum and dad. Well, my dad doesn't drink, but my mum would have a drink with us. But like, I never went to the away days and drank and stuff like that. But what I was going to say, so obviously we're playing Southampton tomorrow. I don't even want to go. Like, I can't go this week anyway because we're just absolutely manic. But like, I don't even want to go. It's got that bad.
Yeah. Have you ever done any DJing for the club? Because I've seen, obviously, like Shaq did a little bit at St James's. I've seen my boy Matt Guy did something when Northampton, whatever, his team got to like Box Park.
You know what it is?
Have you ever done anything yet for
not for Leicester?
For the Foxes?
I think firstly, like whenever there was anything worth doing for Leicester, it's like the last 6 months is the only time really where our careers started to take off. So it never would have been in consideration anyway. But also like there's like a band, for instance, from Leicester called Easy Life who are doing really well.
I thought you were going to say Kasabian there. You're like, there's a band, I don't know if you've heard of them.
We don't talk about them. They're like three of our best mates in this band, and they've like fully smashed it. But like they're kind of like the poster boys for music in Leicester. So like when we won the FA Cup a couple of years ago, like three of our mates got to go on like Soccer AM on the Saturday morning, like things like that, and Football Focus. Yeah. It's something we'd love to do if ever the opportunity rose up. Hopefully
as we keep building, because I still would say we're very much up and coming. So I think as the next few years pan out, if they pan out how we want, it would be nice.
Well, I think you need to go back. I think you need to go back to the MCing, because our boy Tazo was on an earlier episode. He's just done like a Champions League rap, hasn't he?
Yeah.
For like, so I reckon you need. Yeah, so I reckon you need to just do some like Leicester related.
I could do that. I tell you what, if we get back up to the Premier League, I'll consider it.
Right. Bold prediction: Leicester finish second this year, so they get automatic promotion. Behind Middlesbrough, of course. Obviously. We're going to make a late surge
wishful thinking.
From bottom of the league to winning it.
Have a later growth spurt than I'm still waiting for my growth spurt. So.
Well, when we do that, I say that's what you need to do, like the celebration for you getting promoted. Yeah. There's enough time there.
Write a promotion track. Do you know
promotion track?
I've seen people in Leicester before where they've wrote lyrics, and then they're all related to the players, and like things like chat shit, get banged like
Yeah.
that, you know?
Yeah.
So it has already been done. So I might think outside the box and do something more rogue.
Whatever we do, you do that. LooseCast will get behind it. The whole of Loose Steers will get behind it.
Yeah.
Hey, we can make some noise with this. And in return, all I want is me and Felix and the boys to be invited to that next party in Leicester.
That's the deal.
The first ever house party bar crawl. well, it's not because you do it every time. But like,
I
after
reckon we could get a good collab going. Vardy would definitely be on it.
Yeah, he's
he's got a
nice.
16 bar in the locker.
Is he Barnes-esque? Do you think he's Barnes-esque?
And
I think he's
his
better.
accent as well. It would just add to the.
You can tell
it would be
he's
a bit
got the
annoying.
anger.
Yeah, and one of our good mates, his dad's Gary Lineker. We'll ask Gary if he fancies featuring.
Nice.
I
There we
reckon
go.
he's
So here's one for you then. Straight off the, I walked past O Beach the other day, I didn't go in, but like here's one for you. I always heard that Wayne was better than Gary when he was like at the academy and that. Yeah,
I've never heard that.
right.
I would really.
Because I heard that he was a better one, but he was the wide boy. That's what I heard. I heard that he was better, but he was the wrong one.
The same like,
Really?
boyhood club as Gary Lineker,
Right.
Called
And apparently
Elston
he's
Park.
always been amazing.
and he's always like apparently he's always, so I don't quite know. I mean, maybe Wayne actually has the
We'll do
sporty
some
genes.
digging.
We'll do some
Yeah.
digging.
I'm just doing that like Donald Trump thing where I'm like, they say. Do you know what I mean? But don't
It's
mention
been-
who they
it's
are
been
at all.
said
Wayne might.
It might have been me that started it, I don't know.
Top bins 30 yards. Stranger things have
Right,
happened.
we're gonna try this. We've never tried this before.
Okay.
I don't know
I
how.
was wondering what you were doing down there.
I don't know how it's going to work out. But I think this is how we're going to do it to start off with. I've written a load of DJs' names.
Yeah.
I'm going to say most of them from the top 100, but they're all very recognisable. I haven't picked weird, random ones that we don't know, right?
Like DJ Ankle Pants.
Yeah, DJ Cocknose or whatever.
DJ Fast.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
So how you would normally do this is you'd stick the post-it note on your head, but
Yeah.
I haven't got any post-it notes. It's low budget
I
shit,
reckon
obviously.
If we nick it enough, it'll still stick.
Right.
No, that's right.
So I'm going to ask you to pick one. Try not to like read it or look at it. Pick it, give it to me. I'll open it up and show everyone, and I'll stick it on the screen while we're playing. And you've got to ask us questions to work out who you are.
Okay, so so when you
This is gonna
said
be good,
so when
'cause
you
we
said
actually play this
so when
game
you just said
after,
pick
no
one
one can remember the questions they asked.
Hang on,
You just pick one and give it to me.
yeah, that's better. 'cause
Yeah, you just
said
pick one,
before,
give it to
pick
me.
one, look at it.
No, I got that wrong. Got that wrong. Sorry.
I'm
You
a
pick,
David
you,
Guetta.
you pick one, give it to me.
How did you get that?
Yeah, they're all folded up. They're all folded up.
Okay, right. I'm going to go for that one.
Right, let's have a look. Right, so I'll show the other contestants.
Right, I'll do this.
Yeah.
one.
Right, so that's who we're going for.
Yeah.
Sonny, will I know this person?
Yeah.
I hope so.
and I'll stick it on the screen as well, so people know. So now you can look again. So
Is
you've
it
got-
Tom Jones?
No.
You got that?
Right, so how many? I'll take that as a joke question.
Of course.
Let's see how many you can do. Let's see if you can do sub 10. We're talking
Okay.
a very famous DJ.
I'm going to try and do this with you because I feel like I feel like
He's gonna do this. He's gonna do that. Whooshy thing that gets in my head, man.
right. Okay, am I male?
Yes.
Am I white?
Yeah.
Am I below 40?
No, I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
In your head, you definitely think above.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Dean's going to Google.
I'm Googling it.
Am I legendary?
Yeah.
It's 4.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
He's above 40.
Okay.
And we're going to play this with Kimmick and Jess Bays.
Okay.
So we're going to score you. We're going to start scoring you.
Is this someone I consider cool?
No.
Oh, 5.
Right. So if we're legendary and you know,
Oh,
no, because he's unsure. I think I know.
No,
just from
right,
this.
no.
I more meant on what I would play of music wise.
Oh, no, you wouldn't think cool.
But you're not saying I don't think. Is it David Guetta?
No, 6.
No.
Okay. How am I going to narrow this down a bit more?
So hang on.
I'm thinking about
So hang
this.
on. So I'm going to give you some time to think. We're a white male over 40 whose music legendary, but whose
music I
music you
wouldn't
might
play.
not play right now.
Yeah.
Who isn't David
and who
Guetta.
isn't David Guetta?
Okay.
And you're on 6.
Have I released music in the last 2 years?
Yes.
7,
Has it been in the UK top 40?
No.
8.
That's it.
Love this game.
I
I never
don't.
normally struggles with this. I'm loving it.
It's
Asking the wrong
only DJs.
questions.
Yeah.
Am I?
Well, when you think about DJs, right, they're all the same until you start narrowing them down.
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did
Not
also
narrowing
say
them down at all. White 40-year-olds or above.
You did
They're
also say
legends.
it's normally after, so there's normally alcohol involved, which helps feed
Do I
everyone.
have my
Yeah.
own party?
Yes.
Ooh, so
he's got it.
9.
Is my party at Ushuaia?
No.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, it's not. No. 10.
It probably was at some point. We're going to carry on though.
Yeah, 10. No, keep going. Yeah.
Okay, is my party at Pasha?
No.
11.
Is my party at Amnesia?
No, 12.
Is my party at High?
Yes.
Okay, High, I beat
13.
It's not Martin Garrix.
So you should get this, really. No pressure.
Yeah, I
but
should now.
at 14, you are now going to be a white guy over 40
Yeah,
who's
he's got his
legendary,
own
who's got his own
party.
party at High, who isn't David Guetta.
Yeah, but I'm trying
It's horrible, and you're going to kick yourself so much when you hear
party
it.
at High.
Yeah.
Fisher.
No.
He has got an event at
15.
High. Fucking hell, this is hard. I'm sorry, this is Okay, so it's not Fisher. Who else has got a party at High?
I think you might be fixating too much on the High thing.
Yeah.
I feel like there's ways to narrow out DJs, and you're not asking any of the right questions.
Well, I don't know what to ask.
Do you want a clue?
Yes. Give me a clue.
You've not even asked what genre they are, really. You've
Okay.
not narrowed down
Okay.
at all. It could be David Guetta, it could be
no,
Sven
you're right.
Vath.
No, you're right. Is it techno?
Yes.
Why are you laughing?
No, honestly,
Is it not?
you're going to kick yourself.
You should put it in.
You'd put it in that.
Yeah.
Real techno guys might say no.
That was, yeah.
Okay. Oh my god, I'm flopping this. I'm flopping this, and I should know, but I've not even been to High.
Think about someone who's got good
I've
visuals.
been once when you played, but think about what
Someone who's got good visuals.
Afterlife have, but they're not there. Who else has got good? Oh, okay. Eric Priest.
Hey!
Do you know what?
It's obvious when you think about it.
It's obvious when you do, but also it would never spring to my mind because I just never would never listen.
Well,
to
I think that was about 16. We'll knock it out with. We'll knock it.
I know what the thing is.
I love that, mate. That was great.
And a whole lot of other stuff do it in 3 or 4.
Do you know what, though?
Am I Adam Bayer? Yes. How did you know?
I've
Give
seen
me
it
someone
before.
like
Literally
Lenny Henry, and I'll get it in 3.
Yeah, or
Right?
sometimes he'll just go, "Am I Lenny Henry?" First time, and everyone goes, "What?"
The thing is, though, you did it in 16, but actually you're top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, you are
top of the
stamina
leaderboard.
once.
Do you know what? That is a positive, but
It
I'm
is.
also last.
You are also last as well,
So
yes.
it depends how we're looking at
Well,
it.
let's glass our full. Come on, you're top.
normally quite concise. I was thinking he's going to have this in 5 here.
I thought that, but it's kind of hard. It's much harder when you do it with DJs because there's so much that you're thinking, and also you've got your own preferences. So there's names that spring to your head.
Well, the techno thing was tricky, wasn't it? Because that thing where you go, is he techno? And you're like, well,
I don't know
it's
what-
hard
I
to
don't
describe.
know
I mean,
what-
like maybe he's progressive house, but he also plays techno.
It's
Like,
non-techno
but it's a
heads
different
would
kind
say
of
it's
techno.
techno.
Yeah.
Techno heads would
I
say
shouldn't,
that
have
ain't
asked, I
techno.
shouldn't have asked the cool question because then it comes down to too many things. Do you mean music
I think-
wise? Do you mean as a
Well,
person?
that's what I was getting at.
fashion?
Because I was thinking you won't think he's cool, but if someone said to you, "Do you think what he's done is cool?"
Yeah,
You'd go,
Yeah.
"Yes."
That's a shit question.
So-
Don't ask anyone if they're cool.
Right, I'm going to give.
I was going to say what you've wanted to do for a while. You wanted to do a drinking podcast.
Yes.
So I feel like the next time you are here, which will be very soon.
I was
because obviously-
super game. Like that's Saturday night.
Is that going to be called the Get Loose
Well,
Show?
so last Saturday, my missus was just going to come and sit there and get hammered while we were doing it, and we were just going to go out after. Do you know what I mean? So like, she was mid getting ready when it got cancelled. She was livid.
sorry to your
I know we
missus.
went out. We went out anyway. It was
We're
fine.
going to do beer pong, weren't we?
Yeah.
But the next time you come, and it will be probably
Tequila
soon, like
pong.
you say, Loose Days are absolutely loving you guys at the minute and we're booting you loads. Next time you come, we'll do our first ever drunk podcast, and I will do a bold prediction right now. You would drink in here, you'll get the next one in 4.
Oh, he will. 1,000,000%.
I actually guarantee I'll be better, but I've also learnt a lot from that.
A lot about myself.
I've let myself down. I've let my brother
that
down.
Experience has humbled
Let the brand down.
Right.
First of all, I've let Prince down.
He's going to be livid when he watches this. He's going to be livid.
I can't believe you didn't think I was
He watches all my content. He's always watching Murphy's Law.
On the plus side, though, you thought he was under 40. He's 47, according to Google.
Everyone's older than you think, though. Right, I'm going to give this phone to Dean, and he's going to pick some loose advice to read out while I play my... You won't be able to hear it, it's awful. Yeah. While I play my horrendously AI-generated theme tune for it,
nice.
Then he's going to ask some loose advice. Basically, the theme tune says, like, don't take it to heart, it's just a fucking joke, really. Yeah. So, some loose advice. I'll give you the nod when this is finished.
Are we giving the advice?
We're all going to give it, but mainly you, yeah.
Sweet.
Okay, so I'm going to Ibiza for the first time.
Yeah.
Where should I go? What should I do? both clubbing and other activities.
So let's go between both of you. Yeah. Let's hit like two answers each. So one answer each on a kind of like seshy, clubby, what club to go to, what like bar to go, whatever. And then let's have another question, which is like, when are you having a day off? When you're like not doing that?
What's a day off?
And also, by the way, if your first answer is the best place to go clubbing is Ibiza, you should go to Prida. I will be absolutely mind blown.
Honestly, when I think of Ibiza, bam, Eric Bridge at home. If you like DJs who are about...
If you like
40,
techno, white males who are over 40 and legendary...
Who, you know, I might not consider cool.
He's going to be so annoyed. I'm not cool in the eyes of
him.
him.
Might watch it.
Why wouldn't he?
Oh, I think he's got better things to do. No offence, anyone watching.
Right, so let's go to Sonny first. Let's go like so. You go to Ibiza, yeah. Where are you going on the sesh?
I mean, for me, I feel like the Amnesia Terrace. If you've never been before, it's just out and out chaos. Like, there's nicer clubs on the island, but if you just want to be having it off, I feel like that is just the breeding ground for mischief.
Yeah. Do you go to West End first though? To like,
I don't think we've ever been.
Never ever go.
So I went the other week, and my missus has never been to Ibiza, and I took her to West End, and she was devastated. She was like, "Is this it?" She was like, "People talk. It's this, is it?" There's like an Irish pub and a few others. Like,
took it to the Lineker's Bar closing party and said, "This is going to be magic."
That's
back to back.
I've walked through it, but it's always
He's
been
better
weird.
football, you know.
I always think with the West End, and this is like no offence to anyone that goes to the West End.
yeah.
Careful.
Essentially, you could go to that anywhere else. So,
Yeah, it's better. Yeah. It's better in Magaluf. You might as well go Magaluf if you want that level of
This
strip.
is my point. Like, I've got a lot of time for San Ann, but
Yeah.
the actual West End part, it's a bit like it's worse than Leicester.
So having it off, Amnesia for Sonny.
I think if you've never been, that's where you send.
Where are you sending someone to have a mad one?
My all-time two favourites are Pasha and Amnesia. I think they're the two best clubs, but also the parties there. So obviously, Amnesia Metamorphosis this year has just been ridiculous. Like the lineups and the vibe there has been so cool. And then like it used to be music on the Friday. Like that terrace is just. And I think if you've done the clubs and you send someone, then get yourself to an after party in a villa in the hills somewhere. I feel like if you've... Yeah, so I'd definitely say for partying, that's where you need to
Have you been to Pasha this summer? Because I didn't go, but they've totally redone the lighting and like the visuals and everything.
Like, fully like about 3 years ago. I think
right, just like slightly pre the...
Yeah, the ownership changed over and they pumped loads.
I've never heard a sound system that good in my entire life.
Wow.
And the lights are great and stuff, but it is weird. It's like, even though it sounds the best and the lighting is the best and it's like the nicest actual place, it is just the atmosphere, and Amnesia just feels different gravy. It just feels like I can't even. You watch videos from 10 years ago, classic videos on that terrace, and when you're there, you're like, oh shit, this is all the videos I've watched right here. Like, I was
going to ask you about the DC-10 when you were there that first time when you met the manager. I was going to ask you, was that when they still had the kind of like the DC-10 main bit where like the walls weren't really built and everything, you could still hear the planes going over?
I think the walls had been rebuilt by that point already.
Because there was a bit where there was a roof, but it was still kind of open all the way around.
As well, like, you know what it's like back then, though, where like the parties would always start like 6 in the evening. They'd have the garden going on, like, and you know, like it was open a bit late. But I don't think DC was in like its state then that you're referring to. But it's definitely had a lot of development again since then.
Have you been to Is High the only one you've been to in Ibiza?
No, I went DC-10. Not last time I went. The time before that one we went over with when James Hype was playing.
Oh yeah. You went with James, didn't you?
Well, yeah. So obviously James played at Digital a few years back, and it was a really good night. And we hadn't been out the night before, so we ended up partying this night with him, and we were out at like 8, 9 in the morning. Ironically, we ended up at the casino because it was the last place open. And he was like, "Oh, I'm actually playing in Ibiza at Ushuaia on." I think it was. Do you know what it was? It was the day England got beat by Croatia in the World Cup semi-final. Yeah. So he was like, "Why don't you just come over with us?" So Jerome Price, just know Jerome Price because he's from Leicester, isn't he?
Name.
I'm sure Jerome's from Leicester.
Jerome Price, I definitely know that name.
Jerome's a great mate of mine. He's like he's really really big DJ. He's done Me Minus You, his main track, I think. And he, ironically, do you know that he used to be a rapper? Jerome.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to show you some of his stuff.
The Leicester
I know, that's what I was thinking earlier when you said
have a rap
come out with gun fingers.
The price is right. I don't know, I'm going to have a Google after though.
Nice.
So we went over and it was a really good night, obviously apart from England getting beat, but ironically there was a group of people with the group, and there was one guy and he was known as the chemist, and you can imagine what he does. Now, as I said, I've never touched anything and I will never touch anything, but he was.
I thought you were going to say he worked for SmithKline Beecham. To be honest, I was totally. I'm really confused.
He specialised in performance enhancers.
Yeah, and Jerome doesn't touch anything either. And we were like, oh, with them all, and he was like, oh, I've got something I need to show you in DC10, and I'm like, oh my god, we're getting escorted by the chemist. I'm like, this could end up so badly. So he's like taking us through DC10, and he's like, right, come this way, and we're like following him like lost puppies. We're like literally like going wherever the chemist tells us to go, and I'm thinking. We could be involved in something here. It's like quite dangerous.
It's like Simon Says, but with a twist.
Yeah, he was like slaloming through people. Well, I thought we were going to chemist. Chemist corner at one point. We were going to, and we're following the chemist, and me and Jerome are looking at each other like, "Oh my god, what's happening here?" And he turns and he goes, and he's right, we're here, and we're like. And all of a sudden the aircon just hit us.
Oh,
he literally had
spot.
Yeah, he had the sweet spot in DC10.
I know where you're talking about. You go in that little door by the side of the bar in the garden, and when you come out, those doors, it's the aircon just as you walk through, and you sit there like.
Mate, honestly, he took us on an absolute wild goose chase to this spot, and I'm like, what are we doing? And it just hit us. I was like, oh my god, unbelievable.
We didn't need I was going to say we didn't need the aircon this time. Literally this summer, we went to DC10 for Solid Grooves, and it was the most rainy I've ever seen Ibiza. Me and my girlfriend got out the taxi, and from the taxi to the door of DC10, we were pissed wet through, soaking.
Yeah.
Got inside.
When it rains in Ibiza,
this was
rained when you were there, didn't it?
No,
this was like a day and a half.
But basically, all of a sudden, we're in the club, and I'm behind the booth, my mate's playing. My girlfriend just goes to me, "Oh, Finn, look up there," and points, and I can see like these drips of water, and then it turns to a stream of water, and then it spreads across the whole roof, and it's lashing it down
onto the terrace,
and then the lights go up. Everyone moves into the other room, and these security just get out mops and start sweeping the floor.
No way.
And we're all just sat there waiting for it to open back up, and I was just like, I don't think I've ever seen anything this wild.
So I was in Ibiza last week, and my girlfriend's never been to Ibiza before, so I took Joe to Ibiza. And we were the one night that we could have out legitimately because everything was happening was the Wednesday. So we went to Ushuaia. Like my mate sorted us like guest list. So we went to Ushuaia. It was Dimitri Vegas and Light Mike. It was ridiculous. And then we were in like the green roomy bit.
That'd be a good one for a game.
But wait for this. So we were in the green roomy bit, which had been getting free drinks in the green room bit. And this guy that we just met started DJing in the afters. And Dimitri Vegas came through, right? My girlfriend's from Coventry, right? This will make sense in a minute. So Dimitri Vegas comes through and jumps on the decks. He starts playing like you'd have loved it, Sean Paul, and like he just starts basically doing like a 90s hip hop R&B set. The worst DJing you've ever heard in your fucking life. Like the man's clashing vocals. No, honestly, but I don't just mean.
Do you know what? He's actually good.
But I don't mean like. I don't just mean he's. I don't mean a DJ's ear. Like he's just missed a little. He's missed a little. I just mean he's like just crashing tracks over the top of each other. He doesn't look. He's not ashamed. He's just fucking loving it. All right. And there's a security guy just banging their hands like phones out of people who are trying to video him. Like no, like diving across.
Don't ruin his career.
Smashing it over. My girlfriend,
Miley Cyrus, he can.
But my girlfriend doesn't like dance music. She's like, it's like COVID-96. She's like getting down and booty shaking.
Compliment. She goes to him, I swear it's just like Coventry. And he's going, oh fuck.
I'm there shazamming it for me next sit down show playlist.
Honestly, it was incredible. Then Aoki came through. To be fair to Aoki, he actually played some like credible hip hop and could mix it. Yeah. Dimitri Vegas was dog shit. Right. So give me a couple of, I know you're what's a day off nonsense. Give me a couple of things that you do or you could do in Ibiza when you're not fully on the sesh. So somewhere you could go, a beach somewhere.
Get like part on the sesh. Just
he's like, I'm not. That's what he does. He's like, I've heard your question.
When you came on the set.
I've heard your question. I'm going to give you a different answer.
I do this every week. He asks me a question. I just choose to answer a completely different question.
When you're not fully on the sesh, you have days where you just dip your toe in. you might say, look, we ain't going to a club tonight, and everyone comes to yours and you bring the club to you.
Yeah.
But I have been to Ibiza now. I've not been loads of times, probably been 4 or 5 times. Every time I've been for 3 days, no longer.
Yeah.
And every day I've not done anything other than listen to music and party with my mates.
Yeah.
I feel like a good thing to do though, like that most people don't ever think about doing, but we actually did it this time because we had like 35 mates that came out for our Amnesia debut. It was mad, like all our friends from home that we'd grown up with.
That's class.
But you just see so many groups of people going out to Ibiza and spending grands between them for a shitty little table at Ocean. And like this time, what we did was just contacted the beach club and just said, "There's going to be 40 of us coming.
Yeah.
If like we bring this many people and you can offer like like a bit of food here and there and stuff, but will you close off the place for us. And they basically closed off a whole part of the beach club for us. So we had a whole thing to ourselves. So I reckon if you're going to Ibiza for the first time, instead of
and you're rolling
loads
deep
of money into Ocean Beach, and you're just irrelevant.
Wayne doesn't need the money.
But
Wayne doesn't need the money.
Also, places. I just think if you're going to go to a beach club, go Blue Marlin or somewhere. Don't go there.
Yeah, we went there.
But the amount of money people spend, you could have your own pool, your own, and I just think you have such a better time. So if I was going for the first time and someone told me that, I would have appreciated.
No, that's actually good advice, because it was really fun this time, and they didn't make us spend a set amount.
Yeah,
we were just there all day, and it's like we probably all spent €100 each, but 40 of you spending that for them is worth
good
it.
money.
But for us as well, we had the nicest day. That's the only day I've ever actually done anything that's not party related, and obviously that night was party related.
Plus, you've got more space to get absolutely fucked up and do how to do the best bank robbery Ibiza special.
Well,
that would be the best beach robbery.
Wayne Lineker won that one a while ago.
Libelous. Have you got anything to add before we call it?
Well, I went to Ocean Beach, so my answer's just
nice. He paid the grands for Ocean Beach.
Well, no, to be fair, the boys, because I won't go into the story again. But obviously, I went with all my best mates from home, and they've done like Ibiza every single year. Obviously, I know we've told this previously, but the quick version is obviously every year it was like the business. I couldn't ever leave the business, so they all went to Ibiza every year. And then finally, I was like, should we go to Ibiza this year? And it was the same group that had gone every year, plus me. Even though it was me who said, let's go, at the end of the trip, one of my mates was like, Dean, you've been a great addition at this trip. I was like, a fucking great addition. A, you're my group of mates. B, it was my fucking idea. But they went to Ibiza.
Special guest star.
Special guest? He kept calling me Special Guest Saunders. I was fuming. There's my idea. I was like, fucking... Anyway, point is, they've gone to Ocean Beach, and obviously it's because previous years they had done like... the West End and stuff. So this year they were like, we'll go big on different things. So they were like, we've never done Ocean Beach at the table. So they were absolutely splashing it. Shot girls are coming over and they're like, I know what they're doing, but I'm still going to buy 10 shots of it. Another one to come over, you're so attractive, you and me mate. And he goes, I know what you're doing.
I'm not buying a dance.
I know what you're doing.
I'll take a shot
If you think that's going to work, you're absolutely right.
100%. Take my money.
So we had a messy one at Ocean Beach, but hey, next time we do Ibiza, next time you use a playing there, as Bammy and everyone will want to come over. Felix, can we get you over as well?
Dimitri Vegas play hip hop.
I was going to say, I can't afford.
And then Prince can close with the cool guy techno.
I can't afford the Ocean Beach splashing prices.
And I'll text the.
We'll get a bottle of vod, and we'll just sit on like the beach at St Anne and just chat shit.
We'll go and
I love those days, man. I love those cheap ones. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love
do you know
those
what
cheap
though?
ones.
Like it is when you're in like a different country and the weather's just absolutely incredible. It just puts you in such.
I love the prees of just like staying in Ibiza town and walking to like Playa de Bossa, but just getting cans all the way, just pre-drinking that whole like 3 hour walk.
Do a bar crawl, but not a corner shop.
Yeah, I love it. I love a beer walk, me. Love a beer walk.
We finessed it this time, because we had a big villa because there was loads of us. Because obviously we took our mum out with us. We had like...
Did she pay the deposit?
Motherly figure. Our mum loves a party. She's not like, my mum's not boring by any stretch of imagination. But because we had that motherly figure there, it's like you'd wake up each day and you'd be hanging out your arse, and with the villas, because they're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But whereas normally it's like, right, we need to call a workers' taxi to take us to the supermarket. My mum would just get in the car, go to the supermarket, the fridge would be loaded up with beers when everyone woke up.
New TM?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't let our mate Jake hear about it. She would be a good... and so, like, it was just, when you've got a villa and then, like, your mum's filling up the fridge with beers, we were just like, this is... I don't know how I'm going to go.
We woke up on the Friday, didn't we, and came out to the table and it's just, like, scrambled egg, bacon, baguettes, all orange juice, freshly squeezed, and I was like, this is heaven.
So what's going to happen? My mum and dad listen to all the LooseCasts, and my mum and dad are going to be so offended with your story of your mum. So basically, when I first started, like my first night, which was like we talked about before, was persistence. It was 11 years ago, and like we were arranging the first night. My mum and dad, like my sisters came, and my mum and dad were like, "Oh, can we come?" And I was like, no, because I didn't want to start the first ever event as something that it's like a thing that Dean's done with his mum.
First ever subscribers to this YouTube channel.
Oh, they were on it.
Steve and Steve
the
Saunders.
most supportive people in the world.
Love that.
But as much as I love them and as supportive as they are, they couldn't come to the first ever event because I didn't want it to be like I wanted it to be a cool thing.
I totally get that. I totally get that point, because it's like we wouldn't to every show just like bring your parents with you, or like you don't want people to come and that's the image of every show.
So don't get me wrong, they come at the festival and like my mum is more popular than I am because they're driving instructors, so like I'm not saying my dad isn't, but my mum's taught like a lot of the people to drive from like school and stuff like that. So everyone's going, oh, Sue, like, my mum's like, how's your driving going? Have you
How many points you got?
You can't be driving after this. Surely not.
Literally. But like, so they come at the festival and stuff, but obviously at the club events, I was like, you can't do it. So then it got about a year and a half in, I was like, do you know what? Now I think it'll be like, oh, it'll be fun. Your mum and dad are there.
Yeah.
And they were like, don't want to come down.
Oh, no.
So they've never been, I've done the events for 11 years. Your mum and dad have never been to a club event.
Way.
They've been to the festivals.
Holding a grudge.
I know, right? Grow up. Sue, Steve, grow up.
Right, let's call it. Thank you, boys. If you want to find out more about Murphy's Law, go and check them out on Instagram. They're gigging literally everywhere. They're going to be the next big thing. Thank you so much. I think you're like the Leicester Gallaghers. That's what I think. Do you know what I mean?
Not going to say Leicester Casino.
Right, cheers, boys.
Cheers, lads.